time with family, staying active, doing what you love. We understand how important it is to live your best life, even as times are changing. At Holzer, we strive to help every patient achieve their best health during every stage of life. With more options for care through in-person and virtual visits, we are dedicated to providing you with excellent care every time. Live your best life with Holzer.
Hello and welcome to episode 17, I believe, of the Talk of the Town podcast. I'm Josh Wellington, Executive Director of the Gary County Chamber of Commerce, and joining me today for a year-end wrap-up show for everything we've been doing here at the Chamber and things that we've got coming up is Chamber Board President Amanda Ehman from Rio Grande Community College. Amanda, good morning.
Hello, Josh. It's so good to be here this morning.
We are recording this on the 23rd, so if anything comes across a little dated, we've both kind of started off brand new in January. I came in as the director and you took over as the president, and it's been a whirlwind.
We've learned a lot, haven't
we?
We
Have.
Yes.
We have learned a lot. We hit the ground running in January with getting some new members and getting some things organized and kind of implementing some programs that had lapsed and bringing in some new discount programs and things like that. And I think it's been successful in the fact that we have gained several new members and the enthusiasm seems to be growing.
I think, when I think back to January, prior to, and I've served on the board, goodness, it's been several years. And, with the chamber, it's always been, why do members want to join? And you had that answer. And that's kind of when we say hit the ground running, you really literally ran. And I think had new ideas and new opportunities for businesses so that they could do the sponsorships. And I think that's really what has led to a lot of the growth.
Well, and I think that for the longest time, and you run into this, I come from a sales background in advertising, and you come into a situation where sometimes you will, if you closely examine the way you're approaching it, you oftentimes can catch yourself telling people what you can do for them. Mm-hmm. In reality, I guess, what you should be asking them is, what can we do for you? And then have the ability to kind of pivot and look at customizable ways that you can help. And because each thing is different. Mm-hmm. I used to tell clients, I can't market a flower shop the same as you market a car dealership. The transaction sizes are different. The amount of foot traffic that you need to get the results that you need are different. So you have to customize that thing that you're trying to accomplish. And I think we've brought that kind of mindset into the chamber and look at, how can each member, how can we help them in their need, whether it's business, networking or, helping with marketing strategies and things like that. And I think another big thing when it comes to the marketing side is having that experience in a little bit of print, dealing with a little bit of billboard, but also digital and radio, is I can sit down with a member and listen to what their ultimate goal is and look at their budget, and I can make suggestions to them without the pressure of the sale. Mm-hmm. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just here to help. So then I can direct them to our members who kind of work in that area. And I think that's been a big benefit as well. But I think also we've had, we've done activities.
Yes.
Even in an era of COVID, we've tried to make things happen. And a big, the first thing we did, and I've oftentimes forget this, and it's almost time to do it again, and we're going to expand it a little bit, is we did the Valentine's Day card drive.
That's right. That was fun.
It was a suggestion of one of our members, Centos, and at that point you're very early into this thing, and
But you were all about design. I know you
Yes.
had a lot of that creativity that you could bring to the table, and that helped a lot.
So what we did is we collected from area businesses and members. Everybody donated Valentine's Day cards. We put a bunch in Centos, and then what we did is we divided those up and took them to all the nursing homes and assisted livings in Gallia County, and made sure that those folks who had been shut in and hadn't seen their family, had no visitors for such a long time, were able to know that people were thinking about them. And I think this year we may try to open it up even to, I want to get with the county and city schools and let's see if the art teachers want to open that up as a project to their kids, especially in the grade schools, and maybe increase that number of cards. But it's just sometimes you do things. There's no financial benefit. There's it's for the good.
But you could see the blessings on their faces.
That's it. That's it. And we received calls and things and emails that said hey, my mom was in this facility or whatever, and when I talked to her, that's all she wanted to talk about is how everybody that was there, the residents all compared their cards and they were so excited. so that was good. And then we had our first I guess it was our first experience into calendar management of when do you plan events. And my goal was, let's have the golf outing as early as possible so that we can get on to other things. And so we moved it to April.
Which, sometimes the weather's great in April. And
not that day.
I think we experienced every single weather. It was nice and sunny.
At the end,
it rained. I think we saw snow flurries.
We did see, yeah.
Again, the sun came back out.
We saw some sleet.
We saw sleet, yeah.
We saw people sliding down hills and a lot of coffee and hot chocolate.
Yes.
And
the
Bloody Mary bar was a big hit on
yes.
that day. So thank you too.
That was a huge hit, but I was thinking about that the other day, and everybody stayed and played, and it was cold. It was something, but everybody had such a good time. For people to stay, I just thought that was something.
And that's a big, it's not our biggest fundraiser by far for the year, but it's a substantial fundraiser for us, and to see the support, and we sold the event out, and we want to got to thank Mike and Jody Haynes over at Cliffside for all their help in getting it. And I know the day before the event, Mike called me and said, first things first, this thing's never in April again. And secondly, let's move it later in the day. Let's move it up an hour. So call everybody because it's going to be like 31 degrees at tee off. So, but it was fun. It's a great networking event for people.
Oh yeah, it was a good turnout. I was really happy with that. But yes, we'll have some internal decisions to make on date setting for that golf tournament.
Yeah, I would say late summer, probably.
Yeah.
To get that back on track. And we went straight from that into a lot of river rec planning. And traditionally, if you're in this position as the director, not just coming in in January, you've been here, you can plan. Like now, we've already and we'll get into it a little bit, but we've already, the groundwork is laid for 2022. By the time you get your feet wet and figure out which way's up and how to answer the phones, where all the light switches are, you better have your stuff ready because River Rec is coming.
Well, and then with COVID, we weren't really sure what the turnout was going to be
exactly
as well. So we were just kind of, I know in our planning stages, what were we going to be able to do or not do, sanitize, all that kind of stuff.
So we were able to have it, obviously, and a great crowd.
Great turnout.
And learned a lot.
Committees.
The epitome of the bane of my existence.
Yes.
But yeah, we learn, we need more food vendors when you're going to have the type of entertainment that we plan on keeping coming through the festival. That draws bigger crowds, and the bigger crowds are hungry. And we had 2-hour waits on Saturday night
I
to
know,
get
people
food.
stood in line. They could hear the music, stood in line. I couldn't believe how they just stood there and visited with each other. And
It was a good time.
We probably should have a few more food vendors.
Yeah, we will definitely be looking to do that, and we're going to make some changes in the schedule of the way things kind of flow to. I guess if you're a vendor and you're hearing this, or you're a possible concessionaire, one of the main complaints was that everything was on the same day.
Oh,
The big stuff, the parade, the fireworks. That will change this year.
Yep.
We will be moving the parade to the 3rd, and that will be a late afternoon, early evening event, and that will help draw more people into town and into the park. And then later on, probably February or March, we'll have a big announcement. We'll have hints before then, but we will say 2 national acts that will be playing the same day on July 4th, leading up to the fireworks. And for those who have, I guess, growing up here, you always have seen the white trailer stage. Right now it's at the park for Galway Sunlights with the nativity scene on it. But that's always been the stage that we've used. And that's not happening this year. Look for a big festival-style stage and a lot of new things.
I think because of the talent that we're bringing in now, we have to make it doable for them.
Yeah, it has to be big enough to hold all of that equipment, and we'll still use our local sound and lighting as long as they can do it and want to do it. They've been with us as long as I can remember and do an amazing job. So they'll definitely be here. We'll have the kids stuff. But we want to add things. We have looked at some different activities, possibly for Kids Day or some side attractions kind of things. So that's coming. It'll be July 3rd and 4th, which is a Sunday and Monday this year. So
yeah, but now back up, Josh, to June. What did we do in June? We did have our annual awards, yeah. So that's unusual for us. Typically, annual awards is January
4th, usually the 4th Thursday in January.
Yeah, but with COVID, we had to cancel that dinner. But Josh thought of a very unique, and Jenny Swain, I think, thought of a really cool idea on how to do our chamber awards. And so, again, Jenny and I we weren't keen on being on the visible video. That was kind of to host a show, but boy, did we have fun that day.
It was a good day. And it was over, we shot it over 2 days. Ed McMahon style the first day, just so we got all of our winners where we needed them under false pretense.
Yes.
And then brought the balloons and
not the big check,
the camera crew and got that footage, and then had the kind of sit down introductions to the videos the next day. And obviously I want to thank the library for their letting us use that room all day for that filming, and Epic Media. Travis Denny did a great job. He and Joey.
I think he had to edit us a lot, didn't he?
He
and I could be divas.
He had his work cut out for him, but he made it all look fantastic.
It was a lot of fun.
And now we're back already. Kind of a quick turnaround with this year's awards, which will be January 27th at Rye Ridge Venue. And we will have dinner catered by Tuscany, desserts by the new bakery coming to town, Flower Girls, which you guys are about to get flooded with information on. Their food is just tremendous, so we couldn't be happier to have them. And then our guest speaker, Basketball Hall of Famer Jerry Lucas, will be there to speak. And if you heard the podcast a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I guess, by the time this airs, just a passionate individual, not just about basketball, but about education and children, and the difference that he wants to make is just profound. So he'll speak that night. If you're a member, tickets are available now. You can call the office, or you can email us, and we'll get you the link to get those purchased. If you're not a member, after the 14th of January, you can start buying, or I believe that's right, after the 10th of January, If you have questions about it, just give us a call at the office at 740-446-0596. And
A
we'll
lot of the
get
information's online, isn't
it
it?
is, but if you're not a member, I don't know that you have direct access to that because you
Okay.
didn't get the email.
Mm-hmm.
But tickets are available for that. We're looking forward to it. It's
Yeah.
a new venue.
We're coming together.
We're coming
We're gonna
together.
See each other, talk to each other.
And I look forward to not only the networking side of
Mm-hmm.
that, but being able to honor these winners.
Oh yeah.
And just a list of the winners for those who haven't seen it. Our Marianne Campbell Volunteers of the Year Award is going to the U.S. Army Recruiting Office here in Gallipolis. Staff Sergeant Abernathy leads that office, and he was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Sudden Impact Award to the John G. Black Historical Center. If you have not been in that facility, it is an amazing hidden gem that often gets overlooked in our community. That is an absolute showpiece for the history of this area. Community involvement is to Robin Fowler State Farm.
Oh yeah.
And she does a lot, not just here in Gallipolis, but throughout the
All
community.
around, yeah.
So we wanted to honor her and her office for that. Committee of the Year, the Ray McKinnis Committee of the Year goes to the Bob Evans Farm Festival. Chris and
that's
Gail out there, I mean, they have done this unheralded just for so long, and such a great event. Then they work so hard to keep that going. And then, of course, they also do Christmas on the Ridge in
Right.
partnership with Ray Ridge.
That's a huge turnout.
I think they had 600
Wow.
this year.
Drive through the
Drive
lights.
through the lights.
That's great.
That was just on that day that they had Santa there and the reindeer
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Small Business of the Year this year is Crown Excavating, which they are one of those companies that are doing a lot of good things in the background and don't ask for the recognition. The time that they donate on community projects is really big. And so we felt they were very deserving of that honor. And then also, the Beautification Award goes to South Gallia High School.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have done a bunch of work around their campus and really made it look nice. And to be able to honor them is a treat as well. And then we'll announce that night the Bud and Donna McGee Community Service Award, which is basically our Lifetime Achievement Award for community service. And we'll announce that evening.
You're not going to tell?
Not telling. Not telling. They don't know, and
That's
I'm
great.
not telling.
It's a fun surprise.
It is. And we've got the presenter for that award all lined up, and it's going to be something really special. So look forward to that as well. What your first year as president, what surprised you the most about what it entails?
I think the management part, just kind of really working with you has been fabulous.
Thank you.
And just getting us lined up in our calendar of events, like you had mentioned before. And just so we know, and I think where we were coming out of a COVID year, I think we were kind of off track and, for planning. And then we just kind of, I think what we realized is it's okay to not do things the way we always did. And that's
truer
I don't
statement.
like that statement. Oh, it's because it's how we've always done it. And I think that helped both you and I, just as we were new and doing this. But just thinking outside the box, I had been, like I said on the board, which is different than president, because you sit on the board, you do your meetings, and you do have a lot of input and you volunteer. But when you're president, you are at every different thing,
right.
And you're kind of, helping you with the face. But Josh, and we have Paige in the office, and she does a great job with the assisting Josh with all the paperwork and that kind of thing. But it's a well-oiled machine, and I feel grateful to have Josh and Paige here and all the board members. I mean, you do put a lot of time in it as a board member. But, it is such a value to the community.
I think so. And I think that the value is growing. I think this podcast is part of it. We'll touch on some things here in a second about what we hope to do maybe, this coming year to even increase that. But, I was on the board before stepping down to take this position. And I've always, the chamber's always been dear to me. And I kind of live it and preach it to everybody. I think people get tired of hearing me talk about it. But with you being president, and even, with the board, and I lean on Jenny Swain a lot as well. But this board has allowed me to, and this office, I guess, not just me, but Missy and Kim and now Paige, to kind of do our thing. And there are times when I will call or text you or Jenny or whoever's dealing with this certain issue on the board, if it's a certain thing that they're in charge of or something, and get some advice. But a lot of times it's just a text or a call for a heads up.
Yeah,
and
we know what you're doing.
We just kind of
we
roll
have
with
faith.
it.
Yeah, that's right. We have faith.
And that's greatly appreciated. It's not an office that is micromanaged.
No.
But at the same time, like, I kind of know, like, okay, if I'm going to make this decision, I'm going to ask somebody. Because I need somebody else to help shoulder this responsibility or whatever. But it's not like if I need to go buy ink pens, I have to call and say, hey. And actually, this podcast is a perfect example.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those things where the idea came about. We got the sponsorship from our great supporters from Holzer. And then I kind of just ordered the stuff and sent out an email and said, hey, we're going to do a podcast.
This is what we're doing.
So, and we kind of got some things, different events that we had planned for this year that kind of had to fall through because of COVID, which we look to hopefully maybe be able to do at a later date, whether it's casino night or the murder theater dinner. I think would be fantastic to try to do. So if we can get something like that put together. But it's obviously every day you come in with an idea of what your day is going to be, like what you're going to do. And then by about 9:30, oftentimes that plan is completely, you have a list and then you start writing on it, and nothing that you had on the list to start with is ever scratched out. Right. And you've got 3 other things that are scratched out. So, but it's fun for me to be able to go out and see what these business owners need and try my best to help them.
Right.
So,
and like you said at the beginning, you have to listen. You can't tell them. It's sitting back and listening to what they need.
Right. And, we used to do quarterly learning events at lunch.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we've partnered up with Kelly O'Brien and ECDI, which Kelly was on the podcast way early on. And their office works with funding for businesses and grants and loans and things. And she and her office have helped us secure a grant through the Foundation for Appalachian Ohio to put on a lunch and learn every month next year. So we will help our members in that way by focusing on, when things are ever changing.
Right.
And so we will have our January one is January 25th, and we'll get the registration out for that after the first of the year. It'll be at the library. It'll be about digital marketing and target marketing and the, how can you get your commercial on Hulu and things like that. And it's not as difficult or as expensive as people may think. Yeah. But how can you target your marketing and kind of get rid of some of that waste that you're spending? If you're advertising in this platform and it's reaching the wrong demographic or whatever, it's kind of a waste of money. So we'll go over that. We've got voice over IP. We'll do one on employee retention as well, different things. So we'll have one of those a month, and that grant allows us to do that. And it's that partnership that we've built with ECDI and Kelly and her staff that continues to grow and continues to give us something else that we can help members with.
And we'll listen to business and what their needs are, and that's the way we can kind of grow these lunch and learns.
That's
and
exactly right.
Put on sessions that the businesses are asking for. And our chamber member businesses that are the experts in that content, they'll be of value of teaching that. And so that's just going to be a wonderful partnership to have. I think I remember a few of the lunch and learns that we did, and it was a value. And we had business owners come and, listen and learn. And it was very valuable to their small business or even a medium or big business size.
So we've got about 4 minutes left here. What's your hope for the chamber for 2022?
Well, we are excited to have the annual chamber dinner face to face. I think once people can, see the growth of the members that we've had, that just shows the value of the chamber. I am so excited to see the sponsorship ideas that we have. So a business needs marketing, and that's kind of how Josh works, and he gets another business a deal, to kind of help them. And, that's a value. That's a value to business that people don't see. And, I think just the growth. I really am so happy with the employers and the companies that have joined the chamber. And I mean, Josh has even had other county chambers reach out to him and say, "What are you doing? Can you please come and feed me your information?"
Right.
And that's flattery.
It is.
That's the best form. And so, chambers around the county, some of them are suffering, and it's because they're doing it the same way they always have, I think.
I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah. And so just right now, because there is social media out there, and that was a value the chamber had years ago, was kind of helping to share the information. Well, now there's a different value, and it's basically all of our chamber members, what they can do for each other.
Yeah.
And I really think that has helped. And fundraisers, Josh is great about doing that. We have some Monopoly t-shirts with all local business names.
And you'll be able to purchase those at the annual awards if you don't get one before then.
So we'll have those there. And we've done cup fundraisers. We do the duck race.
We
now
do.
That's
The
kind
duck
of fun.
race
is
coming in
So
July as well.
Yeah, so we do the split the pot duck race. And that's always a kind of a neat event as a board member too, because you get to swim with the ducks sometimes.
Yes.
And float with the ducks. So
I am
intentional or not.
The filmer.
Yes.
The photographer, the videographer of the event. My phone can't get in the water.
No,
So.
But I mean, just growth. I really see that we're doing well. I'm so proud of our county. With what's happening right now with Galpless and Lights. I mean, that just brings such people. I have family and friends from different states, and they're posting on Facebook. They came and saw Galpless and Lights, and I'm like, wow, okay, hey, that's where we're from,
Right.
And oh yes, it's beautiful. And just bringing different people to the area, it has been great.
Well, Amanda, our time is coming to a close. So I too am looking forward to the end of, starting the new year and new ideas and continuing the growth. And I think that it's just something that we can continue to make a difference, and that's what matters. Mm-hmm. So we want to thank you all for listening. Like I said, so I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Until then, thanks for joining us.